The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the latest Square Ball update with me, Dan. Michael's here as well, and so is Rob as we delve into the latest goings on from Elland Road. And there has been plenty, let me tell you. We'll get to that in a minute. First up, just to acknowledge that we want to say an ongoing happy birthday to Levi Solicitors, who are 90 years old this month, October 2024, and they're having a right old Barney, a right old celebration. Just going nuts, aren't they?
I've been awake for over 2 weeks now, just celebrating all month. Yep, very tiring. I'm looking forward to it being over, but I'm not looking forward to is the end of 15% off 3 key legal services, which are wills, lasting powers of attorney, and conveyancing. Thank you.
Well done.
Very good.
So proud of himself. That offer is on until the 31st of October, end of this month. And you can get the 10% discount on your legal fees and all the other services. Full details and terms are on the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Right. Exciting day. Have you seen what's on the table?
It's a mysterious package.
Yep.
What have you been buying again?
It was sent to me in the post from an address I didn't recognise. Hopefully it's not stuffed full of anthrax. Michael, would you like the honours of...
Now you said that.
I mean, the reason why that's why I want you to do it, just in case there are any chemicals in there that you bear the brunt of this before I try and make an escape. But no, it's the Leeds United membership pack.
Okay, so I'm actually doing it.
Unboxing videos are very, very I'm looking at hoovering up hashtag numbers here.
Fair enough. I'll do it the ASMR thing too, because it's good. That's important to get the noises on, isn't it? Oof. Right. So outside of the Jiffy bag, we have a white box. It says My Leeds. It's marching on together.
Bit of a stain at the back.
Got a bit of a stain on the back.
Dubious.
It's got a slight look of like a pizza box when the grease is
the anthrax leaking
through. So exciting opening it.
I should have a smiley on it, hasn't it?
What it should have is if I might try and do the thing that you do where you go
like an Indiana Jones style. Oh, yeah.
It's my phone.
If you're on the video version, you would have seen that was Michael holding a phone up to make it look like he was opening up a box of gold.
How much have you paid for this? My Leeds or My Leeds Plus?
It's not mine.
Right.
It's been donated to us for purposes of doing this.
Well, you got 2 pin badges with the kits on. That's quite nice.
No Red Bull.
No Red Bull on either of them. Do look much better. You've got this.
It's what you've always wanted.
Just give that a tap. How solid is that? A piece of wood.
Very flimsy.
Right.
Very light.
Are you saying it's balsa wood?
It's not quite balsa. You can think it's a very thin plywood.
Read the words. Read the words on the front,
it
Michael.
Says, "We're going to stay with you forever, at least until the world stops going round." Mott. It's got little screw holes in the back, so you can mount it on a wall, and I believe it should light up, but isn't doing.
It needs a battery in it, doesn't it?
Oh,
battery's not
included.
Let's get your own.
Just imagine that's lit up if you're watching the video. There you go. So that's all right.
You just imagine that's lit up while you're selling the dream.
Has that gone on your mantelpiece, Dan?
No, but it can live in here, I think.
It's a little bit live, laugh, love. A bit of a range option, but I suppose it's all right. It'd be all right for like an office, for a downstairs toilet.
In here?
Yeah, exactly. And then I've seen this online and I've been intrigued to see one in the flesh. So, it's summertime.
Yeah.
You're wanting to keep the sun off your head. What are you going to go for? A baseball cap? Or are you going to go for a bucket hat?
I'm going to wear a square ball bucket hat. Reversible, 2 colours.
Not on sale anymore, but good advertising all the same. But they will be coming back.
I think we need to reorder those, yeah.
So when you're keeping the sun off you, what else do you really want?
I want insulation.
Yes, a nice fleecy bucket hat, which isn't going to work over headphones.
I mean, take your headphones off if you want.
All right,
give it a try on your head.
It does fit my head, which is something of a bonus. I think it looks all right.
Looks all right.
It's it is fleece though, which is an unusual choice.
How does that feel against your shiny head?
Yeah, nice.
It's sexy.
Is it? It's sort of, you get this with hats. Like Velcro's on.
Right.
You've got a bit of yellow fluff on your head now.
Well, how much is that? 70 quid, is it?
I don't know.
It's between 50 and 70, isn't it?
It's 45, 50 quid in it, I think, something like that for membership.
I do wonder if when they've ordered these, they've gone with the cheapest fabric and no one's realised it's fleece. Because when do you ever want to wear a fleece bucket hat?
I mean, we are coming into winter now. It's been pissing it down in Leeds recently.
Maybe good for the Norwegians, where it's sunny, but it's not that warm. I'm trying to find a some scope for who wants this.
Have the Norwegians even received these though? I know Norway's not
no,
they're not in the EU, and there were some confusions about people in the EU receiving a gift voucher so they could spend more money with Leeds United.
You get £10 off at the club shop if you're outside the EU, as long as you spend over 50 quid or something, is it?
Yeah, I think the postage and stuff will eat it up. But
I mean, £10 to a Norwegian.
So that's the tap.
It's the equivalent of giving us like 50p, isn't it? The standard of living and the cost of everything is a lot higher there.
Yeah, it's about the price of a pint.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'd buy any of this stuff individually, I've got to be honest.
Well, there's plenty of it on eBay, I believe.
Chris did see a pack in a charity shop, didn't he? Which had it been priced at £30?
Really? Well, that is cheaper than its cost, to be fair.
I suppose so, but you know, it's a right to buy tickets, isn't it? And they throw in some stuff.
No, Angus Kinnear said on this podcast a couple of years ago, it's not all about ticketing, and you can't put a price on some of the stuff you get in the membership pack. And I'm sure they've not put a price on it when they've ordered all this shit.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Leeds United. So they've sent us a present, haven't they? Look at that. It's Leeds United.
Is it a present if you've paid for it?
Not a present as such. No. It's a donation. Leeds United, 5 years old? Wow. Bastards.
Still going. Keeping it going for now. Yeah. And clearly many more good years to come with quality like this.
So you happy with that then? You think that's a worthwhile addition to the studio?
It's fine, I suppose.
Will it be elevated if we can get a battery inside that thing and get it over there on the mantelpiece behind Rob?
I mean, Michael is covered in empty plastic bottles and sheets of paper around him, so I suspect it will end up on the floor like the rest of your possessions.
Michael essentially living the life of a tramp. So that's that anyway. Do you want to wish Leeds United a happy birthday just before we move on?
Happy birthday, pricks.
I echo that sentiment.
Yeah, thanks for giving. To be fair,
I got you a wooden sign. I hope you like it.
Leeds United have given me more misery than just about anything in my life, but more joy as well.
That's true enough.
Yeah. So rough with the smooth,
and it's good to have them back this week, isn't it? It's been a long time since that Sunderland game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, it feels like a long time. I'm sure we will be forgetting about it come Friday night.
Yeah, Sheffield United on Friday, isn't it? What do you expect from this game? I know we don't know much about football, so it's all just like kind of hope we win, you know, that kind of level of analysis. I don't know how they play. Do you know what I expect? I'll make one prediction then, see what you think about this. I think Chris Wilder will fire up his troops in that way that Chris Wilder sort of predictably does, to come out and try and kick the shit out of us, and they'll get a red card in the 23rd minute. That's very precise.
Yep. I think the referee will ignore that red card and bottle the decision.
You think so?
Yeah. But I think given Chris Wilder has just been talking about how he wishes the England manager, yeah, he might be coming out of the tunnel draped in a St. George's cross or something.
Bulldog tattoo on his face.
Why not?
Yeah, just to reinforce the point. Why not? Yeah, it'd be a very interesting test, this one. I'm slightly fearful of it because it's coming after the international break, and it makes all our players very, very sleepy. Yeah, I mean, Brendan Aronson is probably just about stepped off a plane by now, hasn't he? But it's lunchtime on Thursday. He'll be fine, won't he? He's a young man. Young man like that. I once did go into work after a transatlantic flight thinking, I'll save the holiday. I was very sleepy at my desk. I presume we'll be doing. Did no one notice the difference? No. It was my old boss giving me the advice. He was like, just come in. He used to say as well, be hungover on work's time. Some of the fine advice he used to give. That's a good boss. He wasn't there for the few years at the end when I didn't like it. I preferred that boss. when they didn't make you do anything. Exactly. Excellent. No, I don't know. I mean, there's all the Gus Hamer stuff as well, isn't there? Which is, I don't know, feels like it's maybe set up for him to score, or for there to be songs about it one way or another. I don't know. Yeah, your Leeds and you know you are. Pops one in.
He is bound to score, isn't he? Likewise, though, I quite have a good feeling about Jayden Bogle. It'd be very nice for him to score against them and upset Wilder. Yeah. Yeah, he celebrates by running up to the dugouts, that kind of thing. Giving it a shush. Yeah, it gets him really, really angry. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Or is it set up for Pat Bamford to come on and score the winner? Because we know if it's worth upsetting Wilder for, though. Yeah, no, that's true. I think Bamford might be able to
motivate himself for this one.
Late penalty. Get Bamford on.
Oh, God. Well, it won't be Willie Nonto taking the penalties.
That's true. That was like a rugby conversion, wasn't it?
Yeah, did you see his Italy under 21?
I didn't.
Chris Waddle effort. It missed by a distance. But he played well other than that, apparently.
Set up a goal. Captain. Very nice.
Hey, just while we think about this, have you done the stadium consultation thing? Did you get that through?
I have. I've filled it in. I've navigated through trying to make it clear at every stage. They're not having any more fucking money off me because that was very...
Was that the thrust of it?
Yeah, completely, yeah.
It's
Every
just
stage
all
is-
about hospitality, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, you've seen to get older. Would you rather it was like more expensive?
No.
But do you want that? But do you want some nicer facilities?
To a certain level.
Yeah, exactly. It's like toilets that flush. Yes. Premium hospitality experiences. No, thank you.
I don't want themed cocktails before the game, but I would like to just be able to get a pint easier.
Was that one of the options?
That was one of the hospitality packages that got suggested that you could choose from. They were all mental, weren't they, really? And not that much difference between a lot of them, but there'd be like £100 difference. But
Yeah.
there was a poster on Wacko that summed it up nicely, and he just said, how much do you earn and how much more can you give us? Which seems to be the gist of the survey.
I mean, not much more.
No, exactly.
Yeah, ideally no more. Ideally less.
Right.
That's what I'm looking to give.
Yeah, I think it was that morning that I'd paid £45 for a Plymouth ticket. And then they're asking, can we get any more money out of you? It's like, no, you fucking can't.
Yeah, it is. The whole thing is geared to like, we know, come on, we know you've got more.
It reminds me
we
of...
know there's more in you. We've had a look. We've done credit checks on you all. We know you can afford more than this.
It's like Mrs. Doyle in Father Ted. Go on, do you want a cup of tea? Go on. Like, can you pay more? Go on, pay a bit more.
I mean, there's some stuff on there that you think, yes, I would like. It was like, would it be good to have an indoor area to drink before? You know, like the pavilion used to be, for example.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, but you turned it into corporate areas as soon as you could sell it. And I suppose there's a hint of that running throughout. It's like, we will sell everything for as much as we can. Which is, it's understandable from a business point of view.
And there's a market for it as well. Don't get me wrong. There is a market for it. Just don't think it's us.
Although partly I think there was only a market for it because there are not enough cheap tickets.
Right.
If you make it so that you have to spend money, then people will, but it doesn't mean they want to.
Right.
There's a lot of stick and some carrot, but there's a fair bit of stick in there as well.
Yeah, I think the space is too... I mean, they've sort of been angling towards what would make you come earlier and what would make you stay later was part of the questioning, wasn't it? And part of that was dedicated spaces. I mean, fundamentally, people just want somewhere to have a beer and hang out with their mates.
Yeah, and dedicated spaces is good like that. If they can be provided for free, I'm happy to stand in one. What I'm not necessarily into the idea of is like, oh, well, for just an extra £50, what's £50 a game? Come on, you can afford that. You can come and sit in a slightly nicer bar.
Well, probably stand and you just get a seat in like the East Upper or something.
Yeah, you get a free programme. It's like, that seems a lot for £50.
I feel like you're not going to be sold the upgrade, Michael.
I'm not going to be sold the upgrade, no. I'll continue to buy the cheapest tickets I can for everything.
Because the horrible underlying truth here is that the season ticket holders, who are the lifeblood of any football club, don't provide much revenue, do they? Because the tickets are cheaper on a game-by-game basis. And you make far more money by getting a lot of money out of people 5 times a season than you do from getting a moderate amount of money out of people 19 or 23 times a season, plus the cup game, if we get one.
Yeah, I must admit, when you see, because I've had a season ticket for so long, and I mean, I'm on the final year of a 20-year one, which was paid for a very, very long time ago. So it's felt free for ages, but you see that I've obviously seen the prices of season tickets, and it still seems expensive. But then you hear of poor old Rob spending £45 to watch us play Plymouth on a one-off occasion, and you sort of think, yeah, season ticket's not bad value.
Yeah,
in comparison,
it is quite expensive, and that whole survey was geared towards can you come to Elland Road less and spend more like each visit. But I don't know. It was interesting though that when Kinnear came on here recently, and he was saying that when there would be an announcement about the stadium, there would be more detail on like how many of the increase in capacity, how much of that would be general admission tickets, and how much would be hospitality. And then when we did have the I suppose it was an announcement about an announcement that didn't say anything about that. It was just basically what Kinnear had said on here. So whether they're still to decide that or what, but that survey doesn't give you much hope that there will actually be much of a big increase in GA tickets, certainly compared to what is required anyway.
I think it was Angus introduced the phrase GA into the...
yeah, I hate myself for saying that, to be honest.
into the sort of supporters vocabulary now, because
I think so. Yeah.
No one ever refers to it. I will say from the survey that was sent out, it's, if you look at the big URL, Elevate Sports is at the front of it, and they seem to be people who were also involved in a similar thing for Everton.
Elevate, are they not somebody involved with them, part of the ownership group, and data and stuff like that is what they do?
Oh, maybe.
I think it could be,
Okay, because they seem to be, the Elevate Sports Ventures seem to be
let me have a look at it.
strategic objectives and stuff for the Everton Stadium in the stages of that. So, I mean, in some respects, it's good that we're consulting people who seem to be experts in this stuff, because I feel like on debates it would have just been someone in you, rather than doing it on any kind of data.
Quinn Williams.
He's a great guy. He knows all about this.
He's been in the toilets loads.
Yeah, looking at the corporate team at them, I think they are in some way involved in the ownership at some level. And that's all I have to say on that.
Okay, doke.
Some of the stuff around...
And if I'm wrong, by the way, I fully withdraw that.
Some of the stuff around like the atmosphere as well, and do you want better halftime entertainment, pre-match entertainment? It just made me think of Wembley and how terrible that was, geared towards trying to build an atmosphere where actually it was just a PA blaring out music so you couldn't hear the fans, and then some fucking podcasters coming on at halftime to do like a tactical breakdown of the game. You just think, nobody wants this.
It's a really good point, because I remember when Phil was off having his head drilled into, and Parag Marate came on the Phil Hay show when we did that podcast over with The Athletic, and he said what they want to do is preserve what makes Elland Road great. And what is that? And it's the atmosphere. It's like, having the stands as steep as you can have them. It's about, atmosphere. And they're looking at acoustics, for example. We were told in the limited amount of information we got the other week, as you touched on, Rob. And don't do that shit. It's all that shit at Wembley that we absolutely need to avoid if we want to make it good. I think there's a sweet spot, like, play the lead songs, and it can't always stay the same, but evolve it a bit. But there is a long tail, there's a long lag on the songs that people respond to. But, people still, like, us middle-aged twats now, will look back on like Strings for Yasmin, for example, as a song because it was played 20 years ago. And it's just become it's become embedded as sort of a Leeds United theme or meme as that. So just, don't depart too far from what it is now. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, is what I would say. Just be careful with it.
I think a lot, like, it is good that they're asking for opinions and feedback, but I think a lot of it is just like really obvious that people want reasonably priced tickets with a decent view and some leg room that's not like completely crammed like it is in the East Stand, and just find it easy to get a pint and maybe a burger where you'd have to queue up for ages, and it's not painfully watching like someone on the minimum wage pulling one pint at a time. And yeah, that's all people want. And I get you do need a bit of hospitality, but it's not that complicated. I don't necessarily think sometimes. And a lot of the questions that were in that survey weren't really geared to any of that.
No, it seems to be aimed more at, although I suppose maybe the reason it's not aimed at that is because that stuff is obvious, I suppose, would be one defense of it.
But then everything they have done suggests otherwise. Like, it would be nice to just be able to go to the toilet and not have to queue up through like a single door for ages, or have a machine that pulls a few pints at a time or something. But yeah, that seems to be hard to come by at Elland Road.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is do the basics well, and you'll probably make a load more money. Like, they've improved like the food offering. There's some quality food knocking about now in the East Stand. I see it and I go, yeah, I'd eat that. Which for a while, seeing some of the old fucking Chernobyl burgers in there, you're like, do you know what? How many pints would I have to have had in order to consider eating that?
A burger in a football in a Yorkshire Rose foil bag, which has clearly been sat in a cupboard for 15 years. And you're like, no.
Yeah, so modernise all your concessions and stuff like that. But like you say, it's just basic speed of service.
I mean, some stuff will be improved just by making it new and by having it to a modern standard, like more, because like there's always queues. If you go in 20 minutes before a game, there's always big queues as well and stuff. And if the there were more turnstiles and better turnstiles and all that sort of stuff. People could get through. There weren't as many bottlenecks and stuff in getting into the stadium. Things like that would naturally improve. Yeah. Likewise, if you've got a bigger bar, you can obviously put more bar in. You can have more service. Some stuff I think will be just naturally improved by just building things in a way that you now build things rather than
make it a bit less shit,
rather than just being really old and fucked.
Just make it a little bit less shit.
That was what I put. What could we do to improve your matchday experience? Make it a bit less shit.
Have you seen all the people like saying stuff like "Bring back meal deal 1," things like that, which was a pint and the crisps, wasn't it? Something like that. I feel like we're moving away from that, which is a shame in many ways because a pint and crisps. There's a lot to be said for a pint and some crisps.
It's the Paul Robinson on Twitter always shares the picture of. I think it's from. Is it from the West Stand maybe where it's it says no hot dogs is available. Someone has crossed down the word dogs and written food. It's either food or dogs that's crossed out. I can't remember, but it's clearly a bit of sign that's been made like with absolutely no notice, and then they've also fucked it up, and then someone's had to go over with a biro and scribble it out. It's a work of art.
So what does your ideal match day look like then in, let's say, 5 years' time? If they've done all this, are you going to the fan park beforehand? If, let's say, Lowfields Road, for example, is blocked off top and bottom, they've pedestrianised it, they've made a big public space, it becomes part of the stadium space. They're allowed to sell booze out there. It's a public square, whatever.
Well, I'll probably still be selling a mag, just on the fringes of it. But yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. I just don't want them to make it any more expensive. I really can't stress that enough. Whatever you do, the price must not go up. The thing is, the part of being in the Premier League, which is obviously where we're aiming to be, is that you get there for all the money, but then it costs more money as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, at no point does anyone benefit from this. As much as you kind of go, you've got to get to the Premier League for all the money. It's like, well, I don't see any of that money.
So we can torch it on some players we don't relate to and
exactly.
we hate.
If we spend it on Rasmus Christensen and put the tickets up by 20 quid, great.
Should we just fold it? Happy birthday, Leeds.
Just saying. Well, sometimes there's not the benefit you maybe think there will be from being rich, because it's just,
what shit?
It's just for other people is the being rich bit. For the fans, you just have to pay more.
Right.
League Two, come on.
What a life. Should we go to the mailbag then?
Can do, yeah.
Before we go to the mailbag, let's talk about some character on a free, because we're not getting Kouyaté, are we? So
are we not? Is that confirmed?
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Well, he's not here now, is he? That we know of.
It's what the internet's been saying. Suggestions that he failed a medical. Some of the guests that have been up at Thorpe Arch.
Interesting. So who else are we getting?
Well, Francis Coquelin is the latest name in the mix.
I liked him for about a week, about 10 years ago, which is probably the last time I thought of him as a footballer. But, it would make sense, I guess.
I'm fairly sure I will have had him on loan on Football Manager at some point around like League One, early Championship era when he was at Arsenal. Yeah. And he probably did quite well. So, yes, we'll get him and Danielson, the other Arsenal young midfielder, on loan, and it'd be fine. That'd be the way forward. I mean, I've no idea if he's any good now, obviously. He has played for Valencia, so is he the new Pablo?
Probably not.
Played for Villarreal in June. That's fairly recently.
So is he the new Pedraza?
Maybe so.
That's what we've been crying out for, isn't it?
Although there have been some sort of rumours swirling around that they might get more than one, which I think is an interesting. It runs counter to the recent approach towards doing things at Elland Road, where we won't bother. Probably just stick with what we've got.
I mean, Farke was talking in his presser when they weren't asking him about Thomas Tuchel, because I don't know if you've noticed, but he's also German. But when they weren't asking him about that, Farke was saying how they were short with defensive cover as well. So it's a shame that they didn't spot these things in the summer, but at least they've realised now.
Well, who could have envisaged that a warrior like Max Weber would be injured?
Yeah, exactly.
Although he's ahead of schedule, so don't be mean to him.
Okay, fine.
To the mailbag then. We were talking in the last couple, that's taken a couple of weeks of chat up as this. We got talking about the Henry Hoovers, the range of Henry Hoovers, vacuum cleaners that they're made over here. Little round things with a smiley face on, and you attach the hose as his elephant's trunk, like his nose. He looks coquettish, I said, with his eyes, does Henry and all his friends. Charles, Charles is the person who's got in touch with us, but it's also Charles who is into prodigious piss consumption, capacity of 15 litres. Not the Charles who's been in touch, I should say.
Though this is where the confusion has stemmed from.
Yeah.
Because Charles has been in touch to say his wife was mortified when she walked into the lounge the other day to hear you all speaking about how much Charles loves piss. He laps it up.
Yeah. We just want to stress that was, so Mrs. Charles, we were talking about the Charles, the vacuum cleaner, who is the wet vacuum cleaner.
He is. He's got tough features.
And
he's ready, wet or dry.
And he absolutely loves it, doesn't he? And Dave's been in touch on the same thing as well. Hey up, lads. I was listening to the show yesterday and heard further talk on Henry Hoover's and Charles's 15-litre piss consumption. This reminded me of a story that I heard on another show about a piss goblin based at Berlin's Berghain nightclub. They discussed this in the first 10 minutes of the Loris Karius rejected from Bargain and Matt Letitia versus the Shape-Shifting Lizards episode of the Upshot podcast. I think you guys would enjoy the content of this pod if you can cope with the posh studenty accents. They often mention Bielsa in episodes further down the line. I think they discover that the piss goblin is actually a solicitor by day named René. I may have
50% off.
I may have got the name. Wait for it. I may have got the name wrong, so do some research. I imagine there's folk at Levi's into that kind of thing in the back streets off Call Lane, Dave. That's not true, Dave. They're very jolly and having a nice birthday month, but as far as we're aware, none of that.
What was our assistant manager called under Jesse Marsh? He was René, wasn't he?
René Marich.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting. Or Chris Armus. He was always a bit hapless. No one quite knew what he did.
So there you go. More piss chat.
Piss goblin is a lovely phrase.
What if he named himself that? Or would people be like, that's nice to be harsh. Call me a goblin. He might think well of himself despite his hobbies.
So that's that. If you want to get in touch, mailbag at the squareball.net. Email us your thoughts on that or anything.
Cool. Is the hero of the week then?
The piss goblin?
I think so. Let's do that, shall we then? Thanks to the tuktukclub.com for sponsoring this. TSB 15 for a 15% discount on your booking. Adventures in northern Thailand. You can drive yourself. You can have someone else drive you around. Explore shit.
Looks nice. I was actually weirdly looking at flights to like Thailand the other day, just as a family holiday.
I was going to say things are tough at home, are they?
No, I won't get away with it, sadly. It's just
I'm going to look at something around the other side of the world.
Sponsored walk. It's for charity. What can you do? I'm going away for a month. But yeah, it was. I decided the length of flight with my children would be too much for now.
Right.
Let's see though. Let's see.
It feels like that. But the Northern Thailand adventure is something you would do to get away from the kids rather than take them with you.
Yeah, true enough.
So what we need to do now is pick a villain of the week, a Ken Bates villain of the week, and then a Gaetano Berardi hero of the week. And that's the bit that the tuktukclub.com are into, not the mean stuff.
For the villain, should we just nominate the 49ers for trying to make us all spend money?
Yeah, that seems fair, actually. None of us like doing that.
It feels like that's the whole survey was just strong-arming us into... We were basically being marched to a cash point.
You're furious, aren't you?
That's how it felt during that thing. Then at the end, it said, how much money do you earn?
Did it?
Yeah. I lied and said I didn't fuck off. Household income, less than £10, I put.
Really?
Yeah, it did ask at the end. It asked for some general demographic information.
Yeah. No.
So I was just like...
Was it anonymous or was it tied like to you?
It was... you could put in your email address to... Because there was a bit saying, would you be considered for like a...
Focus group
thing? I put yes.
Oh, I want you to get
because I want to be on there just going, how much?
Oh, speaking of focus groups, you're off to the Trust event, aren't you, this evening?
I am.
Which is with Parag and Angus Kinnear in the West Stand.
And Lucas Radaby.
And Lucas.
I like how they've invited him along as if like you can't be mean to us if Lucas is here.
I think that's it. I think any questions about Red Bull, Lucas going to go, Lucas, do you want to take this one?
Lucas is there as the pain sponge.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I'd be interesting. He probably won't.
Heard it all before, I imagine.
It'll be good to, I suppose, get a bit of an update. They might show pictures. Maybe this is when the special people get to look at a photo of this magnificent new stadium.
I want you to go rogue and call, should we say Parag, or do you want to go for Angus a piss goblin.
Okay.
Just see what happens.
Ask him if he's ever been to that nightclub.
See what happens. See how long before you get strong-armed out of there.
So have you thought about a piss dungeon in the new stadium?
Right.
No? Okay, well. Some people will pay a premium for it, so maybe you want to consider.
Although, that cast my mind back to when Ken Bates wanted to build the underground nightclub a little bit like he did at Chelsea. And it was in the northeast corner he was eyeballing, wasn't it?
It was.
And it would have been underground. So Ken Bates in there. You're not far off a piss dungeon there.
I wonder if that ever got as far as mock-ups. You know, with the
plans were submitted, yeah.
I know, but we never saw any internal architecture of it, did we?
No.
Because it'd be like plastic palm trees job, wouldn't it, with Bates?
Sand pit and all that.
I think they should go for that now.
Foam party. We'll come around. I'll be there in my trunks.
So your trunks?
My trunks.
Right.
Speedos.
Susanna put those on you, is she?
Sprayed on.
Spray on? Yeah.
Anyway.
I'd like to nominate Michael as Villain of the Week for just subjecting us all to that.
Right. Who's your Villain of the Week then?
Stadium people.
Yeah.
Don't want to spend any money.
Preemptively give it to Wilder, maybe.
He can wait, can't he?
Yeah,
he's being a prick every week, isn't he, as well? Let's face it.
Yeah, he's getting it next week.
Yeah.
So let's not waste it yet.
Or Melier again for next week. We'll see how that goes.
See what his crime is this week.
It'll be good. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine.
Right then, let's pick a Gitana Baradi Hero of the Week with the TukTukClub.com. Who's it going to be? Junior Firpo again. I feel like he's had a strong week.
Firpo's a good shout. His goal the other day was very good. Playing inside right now, all of a sudden. Living his best life as it is.
Yeah, no one else had a great international break, did they? I don't think. Well, I mean, if they've returned uninjured, I suppose it's a good.
That's all we wanted.
That's really about the sum total of my aim for this international window.
Carl Darlow got a clean sheet. Speaking of Melier, has he now got a rival?
We've got Dan James and Manor Solomon on the way back for the Sheffield United game by the looks of it as well.
Not worthy of being a hero. Oh, well done. You might occasionally be fit. Although given Solomon's injury record.
For a bit.
He might be worth celebrating while we can.
Yeah. Medical team?
For what? Oh, for getting him fit.
Yeah, they're healing hands.
Oh, okay, fine. Firpo?
Yeah, I mean, he did score a Penanka. That's pretty good. And as Willie Nonto showed, and as Pat Bamford has frequently shown, it's not easy scoring a penalty.
Carry it on then, lads. That's about all we've got to say, I think, isn't it? Just make the magic happen on Friday night for us.
I think I'll feel quite nervous about this when it comes around.
It's a good game to come back to, like a nice big home game. Friday night, bit of a pisser, but whatever.
Aren't you going out for beers beforehand?
Correct. Well, I think there's it's probably the first game of the season where it feels like a big game, isn't it? I would say. Have they all been a bit low key so far, the home games? Sky
would have been a good shout for Villain, actually, for scheduling it on a Friday after the international break. And also, I think this is the wrong time of year for us to play Sheffield United at home. I think was it 89-90 with the Gary Speed goal? That was Easter. When we won the title, that was right at the end of the season. Even Bielsa, when they beat us here, that was towards the end of the year. It's all wrong.
Sky again? For Villain, do we need to have a rethink?
I mean, we can do.
I mean, it's Sky's fault that we're getting a new stadium.
Is it?
Yeah, because of all the money they've gentrified football.
They've made it. I don't know. I think it maybe does need rebuilding.
They
as well.
could share it. Yeah, I know it does, but I know it's a death trap and it's rubbish. But it's my rubbish death trap, and I like it.
As long as it's a cheap death trap.
That's all that matters to you.
As a man who once drove a £600 Renault Clio, it was fine. Till it stopped working. Made a big noise.
So who we said for Hero of the Week? Is it Junior this time?
I'll give it to Junior.
Still got his mugs in.
Still got his mugs in. It's almost like we did the whole thing as a way to plug them, but we actually didn't. It's just went and played a game, have we? So let's give it to someone else. Our second best-selling mug after the unbelievable hard Daniel Farker ones. Feel like we're probably not going to shift the same volume of them again. Is everyone falling out of love with him? With Farker? Maybe a second wave if and when we get promoted as champions in March. Yes, okay. Yeah, I suppose after a win against Sheffield United, maybe they'll start selling again. But the junior mug is the fastest one we've ever done. So anyway, on that, if you want to buy one, thesquareball.net.
We do appreciate your support. And that wraps it up, I think, for this time, does it?
I think so.
Yeah. We've got a chat tomorrow with Steve Tong, who's an author who's done a book about football in Yorkshire, just in keeping with the Sheffield derby. But Steve is a Leyton Orient fan, so we're going to get an update on Sonny Perkins.
It's what everyone's been asking about.
100%, Rob. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we will return with the match ball in the wake of the Sheffield United game, no matter which way that one pans out. We'll speak to you about it then. We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.